Hi, welcome to another video by NSD. In this video, we'll talk about content reasons why your user onboarding sucks. And this is specifically going to be about SaaS startups and SaaS products, how they can improve their user onboarding just by making content. If you're watching this video, then you're probably somebody who's a member at a SaaS startup of some kind, and you're more familiar than anybody else with the fact that, SaaS products are appearing everywhere in every industry, and they're appearing with less and less money to spend on marketing. And so the reason why we decided to put out this video is to help you and any other SaaS leader who is struggling or trying to optimize for growth and user adoption and even retention. And so some of the content reasons or mistakes that we'll discuss or ideas will really help you get there by strengthening your user onboarding experience and how your users feel about how you support them during that onboarding experience. Number one, you don't have a strong onboarding video or a product demo that you give your users, even during the sales cycle. So sometimes when users are, maybe depending on your funnel, before a user actually gets to start using and logging into your SaaS, you may always typically give them some kind of product demo of some kind during the sales process. You need to figure out a way to make that sound amazing and show all the technicalities of how your features deliver on the value that you promise your users in your marketing. Okay, and so now to talk about the first component I mentioned here, which was a strong onboarding video. So that too, in addition or replacing a product demo, can be very, very useful to your users. And so that's a video that essentially records in-app footage of how somebody can leverage the features within your product to solve the ultimate problem that they use your product to solve. And so the reason why you want to put a video of this kind, or maybe have a product demo call with your users, is to make sure that they really have a strong visual understanding of how your product delivers on what you market as its value. Number two, you don't have a product knowledge base, and you probably do not have the best customer support service in the world. Now, there's a lot to unpack there because it's really two reasons, right? So let's start with the product knowledge base and what that helps with. So a product knowledge base really strengthens your user onboarding because it's one place for a user to quickly on their own read and understand how your product works. And so this is for them to understand whether it solves the problem that they're trying to solve, or if your product is better than other competitors. Another reason why your product knowledge base is such a useful tool is because it gives the opportunity to the user to self-serve themselves in terms of understanding and troubleshooting your product. So whenever they're getting stuck remotely from the convenience of wherever they are, they can quickly go to your knowledge base and understand how to navigate something. And as you can see in what I've said so far about a product knowledge base, it is so easy without one for users to keep using your product, but after maybe spending a short while with it, they abandon it and never come back ever again. And a product knowledge base, or even the video that I mentioned earlier on, can really help you stop that just by simply beating the customer to any questions they have, and obviously organizing those questions really neatly for your customers to enjoy. And once they access it, be convinced that your tool is the one they need to buy and stick to. Number three, you are not identifying and acting on macro trends from your customer support queries. Now, this is especially relevant to teams who run customer support services or have significant customer support services, a big enough volume that matters, right? And here, the key thing that you need to look out for is really keeping an eye on trends within your customer support queries. What are your users typically confused about, especially when they are getting started? What doesn't seem to be clear? What do they want to, what seems like they're all tending to do or looking to confirm at first about your product? So those are the kind of things you can pick up and rely on your customer support agents to understand and look at to inform and improve maybe a video that you're putting together for user onboarding, or if you're building a product knowledge base, or overall, it can just help you see what are the pieces of information that your users are looking for at the beginning of your product, and how can you best then deliver that to them. So this is more so me pointing out a really effective way to get feedback from your users as to what it is they need to be explained or to understand when they first start using your SaaS product. Number 4, you don't have product release notes. The more enterprise your user base, the more they expect and appreciate seeing product release notes. Now, release notes are something that the tech community, especially anybody at any organization that has a huge culture of using and adopting SaaS products, those people really rely on a product release notes series of some kind to keep up to date with their favorite and most critical tools. Especially for B2B software or SaaS companies, who create some kind of tools that optimize business processes that are critical in so many ways to your users. Those kinds of users always love keeping tabs on what are the new releases and features within a tool, because obviously, as you can imagine, there's so many cases where they do have tools that help them complete different processes or tasks, but for the most part, they still wish and have a wish list probably for most of the important tools of new features and things that they like to be added to the tools that they currently have or see in the market. So the last thing I'll say about product release notes is this. Product release notes also help new users who aren't using your product. Once they discover your product, they can look at your release notes and possibly use that as one of the fundamental things they evaluate to determine whether or not it's worthwhile using your tool for whatever product problem they have. And finally, it's also a nice way for users to gauge how well and quickly you're pushing out new features for your product, and whether that's a great thing that entices them to subscribe to your tool. Nobody can really say, but that is you optimizing your product for successful user onboarding. So number 5, you're not empowering power users to teach their colleagues how your tool works. So most times you'll find SaaS products, with great UI. It's a great tool that effectively solves the problem that their users have, right? But the challenge they have is that they haven't produced any kind of content, whether it's an onboarding video, a knowledge base, or just some kind of content, even a blog post that is designed to help other users, within user organizations, teach other members of the organization how your tool works. Now, it's a no-brainer why you want to do that, because obviously you get more usage and potentially subscriptions for your tool. But beyond that, curating some kind of educational content or training content for other power users to teach other users within the organization only helps you get there quicker, adoption, subscriptions, and overall the total count of your users. And so if you optimize this, you also make sure that you're not only getting there quicker, but everybody is getting the same consistent education, and you're ultimately just increasing all your chances for users to love your product. And this is especially very useful for any SaaS tool out there that focuses on user organizations, and that obviously would thrive based on that model, on more people at the user organization being taught how their product works. So number 6, so you could have a knowledge base and some onboarding content, but you are definitely not updating it. This is 99% of the time. That is not statistically verified, but I'll say it. This is 99% of the time the issue that you'll find with a SaaS that has done some kind of effort. They take long to keep revamping this and updating their knowledge base or onboarding content. And so you really want to evaluate how best you can keep updating the content there as frequently as your product is changing. Figure out the best balance there. If you build it yourself, carve out time to invest further into building it, because in today's world where SaaS products are appearing everywhere and users are more comfortable with using a random tool they just discovered on the internet, it's everything to build and optimize your content, especially in this case, keep revamping and adding to your knowledge base or your onboarding content. All right, so number 7. Your knowledge base and onboarding content could also be too focused on marketing or selling instead of explaining how your product works. So some people, actually most people, have a hard time switching between writing from a strong marketing perspective versus just simply explaining something when they need to actually create some kind of documentation or user onboarding content. Now, the reason why you don't want to stay stuck in a marketing mindset is that you may not at all reveal details about how your product actually works, but stay too focused on making people impressed with the features that you have. For example, if I say that the auto-saving feature on Microsoft Word saves you a lot of time, versus saying to enable auto-save, click the on or off toggle in the top left corner of your screen. Those two pieces of information tell you different things about autosave and Microsoft Word. One tells you the benefit thereof, the other tells you how it works. And so that's in that simple example, I hope you can see how you can consistently make choices in either direction over a long project of trying maybe to create a product knowledge base for your SaaS, or when you're creating an onboarding video. And so please, here the key takeaway is you should always stay in a frame of mind of explaining things, as I did in the second time around about autosave in Microsoft Word. And the reason why you want to do that is because that is exactly how you make sure that people understand all the detail there is to how your product works. Okay, so the last but not least reason or thing we're going to talk about today is number 8, and that is there could be multiple contributors to your knowledge base or content that are let's just say damaging the message and instructions you're conveying across to your users. Or different contributors could be writing from different perspectives, right? Either a marketing perspective or actually explaining information kind of perspective. And so those differences matter a lot, because they honestly could make or break a knowledge base. And that can happen anywhere else, not just in knowledge base projects. Even when you're working together to create some kind of onboarding piece or any educational content about how your product works, you can still suffer from multiple contributors bringing different perspectives. And in that case, you definitely need to, let's say, advise everybody who participates in any such project to be aware of those situations and make sure that one of the key priorities as they're working together is harmonizing and synchronizing on the tone, the writing style, and the objective of the content they're curating, because you definitely do not want to mislead people about your product when the margin for error is just that small. Well, I hope this video helps you understand how you can improve your user onboarding just by looking at different content opportunities for you to invest time and effort in. Let me know how it goes executing on either one of the reasons that we mentioned in this video. Otherwise, I wish you all the best and happy SaaSing.